Welcome to Knightline Live at 7 o'clock on a Monday night, and we are back for one episode, and then we'll be skipping a week because of the fall break, and then we'll be back. But tonight, I'm Jerry Middleton, and along with me as usual is Rick Fletcher. And Rick, we've got a really big show tonight.
We always have a big show, especially when we skip a week, Jerry. All right, what's going on tonight? Well, we're going to have to touch on tennis. They had their sectionals last week. Talk a little bit about that 7-0 football team. We'll have a segment on that. Volleyball had their draw for sectionals. Yep. Knights, probably a tough draw, but you got to play them anyways. So we'll talk about that at some point. Dan Harney is going to be here. Now we have him on at least once a year. We'd like to have him on more if we could, but he's the sports editor, sports reporter for the Western Wayne News. And if you want local sports, you got to go to the Western Wayne News.
Absolutely.
Because that's where you're going to get that. And let's say something about the cheerleaders. You know, they're in competitions. Now, this year they're having their competitions on Sunday, Jerry.
Yes.
Okay.
And I will be here for that. This Sunday the 13th.
Yeah. All right. It was right during vacation.
Yeah.
Right during school vacation. But I think they're knocking them down. You know, they really are. We're going to have to get more. You know, we'll get some more stuff together for the cheerleaders. But they're in the middle of their competition season, and if you get a chance, find out where they are. They'll be here on Sunday. Do you know what time that is?
Starts at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. You can bring your YouTube TV to watch football if you have DirecTV Sunday ticket, or you can watch it later. You know, DVR it, right? That's what it's all about. But come on down and watch the girls compete because they put on a really good show. And what else we got going on?
Well, I'll bring this up real quick. The Midwest, sits on a giant fault line.
Yeah.
There could be an earthquake at any point. Bears win, Bears win.
They won big.
They won big, so I'm saying. And then Colts lose, Bengals lose.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my team does not have a team this year, okay? They're taking the year off. That would be the New England Patriots. They've decided they're redshirting the season. So
they're looking for an NIL deal, probably.
Looking for something. I don't know, but I know they're looking for an offense, all right? So if you find one, send them to New England, all right? Because their offense is terrible at the moment. But just like everything else, things change, so hopefully for me, for the better. But around here, there's no love loss, so nobody's crying for me. So, all right, let's talk about the tennis team. They went to the sectional finals against another good team, Centerville. Centerville seems to find their way into that sectional final quite a bit. Unfortunately for the Knights, they had a great year. They put up a lot of wins.
Oh, yeah. They had a great year.
Their only loss during the regular season in the conference was to Centerville, and they unfortunately lost on Friday. They got beat 3-2, so it was a close match. And, the oddity is guys who won the previous week in the regular season lost in the sectional final, and guys who lost the previous weekend won in the sectional final. So that's an oddity there.
But how many times in sports do we see that?
Well, wait till we talk about volleyball.
That's exactly what I was thinking about right there.
Because we got some stories to tell. Volleyball, we're going to be packed with volleyball today because there's so much stuff going down and, the parity and stuff. But we'll get to that, okay? Let's give some credit. Matt Truitt won. He's number 2 singles. He won his match on Friday. And John Wallace and Carson Abney, they won at number 2 dubs. And so those were the 2 wins. Congratulations to those guys. Unfortunately, they don't move on. Only the winning team moves on. Now, if your number 1 singles team wins, then player wins, they would move on even if you lost the match. Odd, these are rules that I don't understand, but that's how it works with tennis. But congratulations to Centerville. They'll move on as a team, so they're going to the regional. As is our custom, Jerry, sometimes we put a little montage together. I want to thank Dejo Photos, one of our sponsors. They provided the photos, the photography on this. It's not long. I wasn't able to get everybody, but I tried to pay tribute to some of the members on that tennis team. So let's go ahead and run that, Aiden. We'll come back, and then we'll wrap up tennis and move on.
Welcome back, and Rick, another great job there of putting some stuff together and editing and all that.
We've learned a few things over the years, haven't we,
You're
Jerry?
getting to be a real pro at this.
Yeah, but I do want to thank Dana and Joetta Harris from Dejo Photos. They're very gracious. They allow us to use their stuff, and we really appreciate that. We appreciate their sponsorship too.
Yep, absolutely.
So thank you, Dana and Joetta, if you're watching this. We appreciate that. All right, I think we're done with our first segment. I think we're going to go a little longer with our next guest. So.
Yep. Well, when you come back, or when we come back, I shouldn't say when you better just stay. And help keep our numbers up above 1,200 per episode. I won't be here.
Well, you've got administrative duties.
I got some administrative duties, some volleyball, and hopefully it goes quick. And I'll be back out here for the third segment as we wrap stuff up. But your next guest is one of my most favorite people to have on the show.
Yeah, mine
and that's
too.
Dan Harney. He is a storyteller. Some people just have that knack.
Well,
they can tell the story.
I think he's the dean of sports reporters in this area right now.
He's the king.
Yeah,
he ain't no dean, the king.
He's the king. All right, so we're going to have the king on after these messages.
All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes. You're watching Knightline Live, brought to you by Astro Industries. At Kate's Family Eye Care, we value a family-friendly atmosphere, offering high-quality eye exams. Our expert staff utilizes the latest techniques in eye care. We have a large selection of affordable glasses that are unique to our area. We are proud supporters of the Northeastern Knights and wish all the teams the best of luck.
We would love to invite you to LifeSpring Students, our youth group at LifeSpring Church that is just south of Northeastern on 27. We meet from 7 to 8:30 on most Thursdays, but the doors open at 6:30. You can grab some pizza or a snack from our cafe and then hang out with your friends until 7 p.m. We have basketball, dodgeball, gaga ball, and other activities for you to enjoy. At 7, our student band leads us in some worship through music, and we have a lesson from God's Word, the Bible. We then split into small groups based on grade and gender to apply what we have learned and pray with one another. After small group, students are invited to hang out until 9 p.m. when we close. LifeSpring Students is a great way to get to know God and meet some new friends. It is open for any student in grades 6 through 12, and we would love to invite you. Find out more at lifespring.tv/students.
KOA Exit 151A. Registration in the general store. It's a family-owned campground with pull-through parking for RVs or travel trailers with full hookups. Rent a cabin. Relax at one of the fire pits or picnic by the pond. A playground for the kids, or get in around the golf before dinner. take a water-soaking hayride, lay out by the pool, and then take a dip.
Do you have a big event coming up soon? Dejo Photos has you covered. Check us out on Facebook. We are professional photographers who strive to capture all of your special moments, such as family portraits, senior photos, live action sports, graduations, and so much more. If you don't think photos are important, wait until they are all you have left. Contact us via email at info@dejophotos.com or call us at 765-277-0047. Dejo Photos, capturing memories one photo at a time.
Welcome back to Knightline, brought to you by Astral Industries in Lynn, and we appreciate the generous sponsorship for those folks up in Lynn at Astral Industries. With me here is sports reporter or editor or just the all-around sports guy of the Western Wayne News, and this is Dan Harney. Dan, how you doing?
Rick, I'm doing well. For those of you who have never been on this program, you have to come early, go through makeup for about an hour, and I had to skip that tonight, so I apologize for that. But
I think we all skip makeup tonight.
WesternWayneNews.com is our website, and if you go on there, I think you'll like what you find. I work for and with some really dedicated people, and we bill ourselves as Wayne County's local newspaper, and we try to be that.
Well, I think you are, and I'm going to say you're the old-time newspaper that we used to get, okay, where you get the sports page. Of course, you're weekly, right? You come out. I get mine at Wednesday at Speedway in Cambridge City on Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. But you actually will write features on local athletes, local coaches, or something local, 100% dedicated to Wayne County sports as far as sports goes. So really, Dan, and I don't think I'm saying anything out of turn here, the Western Wayne News, as far as local, dedicated local news, is the only game in town. And so pick up your copy. I do have a copy of the latest Western Wayne News. I'm gonna get us rolling here, okay? I was struck by this picture on the back page of the Western Wayne News. I don't know if anybody can see this, but this was at the Centerville and Northeastern game a little over a week ago. Dan was there, and we were all sitting inside in the press box. I still got wet. I don't know if you did.
Yeah, me too.
If you can't see this photo, again, thank you for Dejo. Dejo Photos provided this photo, but it was wet and it was wild, and it had a crazy ending, Dan.
For sure. Both teams are very good, and I want you to know that I love Northeastern sports, but I love all the county sports. I have a green shirt, but I chose not to wear it tonight because I want to be impartial.
Yes.
And all these kids are great kids, no matter what school they attend in Wayne County. But in that particular ball game, the outcome, the weather became a factor in that ball game.
Always a big factor.
And it doesn't mean that the wrong team won. It just means that both teams could not do. They couldn't go to their bread and butter. They couldn't do what they'd like to do.
Right.
The game became hold on to the ball if you can.
Yeah. A
And,
lot of balls on the ground that
and
night.
don't punt. You
Yeah.
can't punt.
Oh.
First punt goes in the wind, goes over his head.
Oh, it was
So
awful.
from that point on, if you remember, nobody went. If you were 4th and 10 and you were 80 yards away, you went for it
Yeah.
because you didn't. You had no choice.
Yeah, because you couldn't kick into the wind.
And you think the game's over, and then all of a sudden, the kid from Centerville made a great play on that ball. That late pass, he tipped it up in the air, which normally that's his job, but the wind was so strong it stayed up there.
Yeah.
And Trent Deloney just ran under it, and I knew when he caught that ball, there aren't anybody. The only world-class athlete in Wayne County is Heather Krull.
Yeah.
So I knew there wasn't anybody fast enough to catch that young man when he had the ball, and
He does have some speed.
But in fairness, you have to remember, wasn't too long before that somebody else scored a touchdown for Centerville to get, or for Northeastern to get them in a position where they could win, and,
yeah,
and that was huge too.
Yeah, if they didn't score that touchdown, then
It's academic.
yeah, it didn't matter.
And so Centerville's in a position they can say, you know what, if under different weather conditions we would have won that game,
yeah,
and maybe so.
yeah,
Northeastern
they're a good
could
team.
say,
They're a good team.
yeah, well, same conditions for everybody.
Yeah.
What would be ideal, I think, would be a rematch of the sectional. And that could happen.
That could happen. Hopefully, what you'd like to see if you're fans, it would be in the sectional final.
That would be great.
If you could draw it up that way. That's going to be a tough sectional. Let's talk about football. We're kind of into it now. Give us your landscape of the Tri-Eastern Conference. And right now the Knights are 7-0, but there's a couple of teams breathing down their neck.
The Tri-Eastern Conference doesn't get a lot of favorable publicity statewide.
Yeah.
But the people who say that generally don't see the kids play. The Tri-Eastern Conference is loaded with outstanding coaches to start with.
Sure, I agree.
There are some young coaches that are just getting their feet wet, but most of them are experienced coaches, and even the new kid at Union City, he's going to turn that program around.
Yeah.
And he was. I've covered him when he was playing. It hasn't been very long ago. But
boy, that's a thought. It tells us how long you've been around, Dan.
But you got with Wes Oler, and Ryan Cole, Scott Snodgrass, Mike Jones at Winchester, they're all going to get together and figure out. And you give them a week, and they'll figure out something you don't like. they're just tremendous coaches.
Well, you look at you mentioned Winchester. They're 1-6 right now. They're 2-5.
They have to be the best 2-5 team in the state of Indiana 2A. But I'll tell you what happened there, and I'll tell you it's happened in other places. Small enrollment schools get injury problems. It changes the complexion. If you're at Ben Davis, you put in one of your other 150 players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Small enrollment schools, Winchester's been hard hit by injuries, but look at their scores. They're competitive.
Yeah.
They were competitive with Northeastern, Centerville, everybody. They beat Hagerstown. Hagerstown has 17 freshmen on the roster, and most of them are playing, and they never expected any of them to play because of injuries. And they're getting better. That'll pay off down the road, but in the meantime, they're not playing the kids they thought they would. Winchester's best running back played last week for a little bit, first time in a long time.
I know. He only played a couple series, and when the Knights went up there.
Their quarterback was the number 2 quarterback until their quarterback got hurt a few weeks ago, and he throws for over 200 yards last Friday. So, next man up. And these coaches in this league, and certainly Wes Oler is among the best, they figure out a way to beat you if it's possible.
If it's possible. So
and their kids play hard, all of them.
That was definitely, like you mentioned in that Centerville Northeastern game, that was hard fought. I mean, you had both teams just going at it, just slugging it out. And it's fun to watch, whatever the weather was. I mean, you saw two teams that gave it their all.
Oh, for sure. And you can't, as a defender, you have trouble getting your traction to hold your spot. You can't run the ball. You can't catch the ball. You can't throw the ball. What does that leave? Effort.
Yeah. Let me mention another Tri-Eastern Wayne County team, and that's Lincoln. All right, there's no secrets where they're at, okay, and they will admit where they're at. Their numbers are a little better. I felt that maybe they were, I'm not going to say turning a corner, but I think they played better when they played Northeastern. They seem to be a little more competitive.
I disagree with you. I think they're a lot. I think they're a lot better.
Well, there you go.
Their coach is an experienced coach, Jeremy Payne.
Mm-hmm.
He's been to the wars before. It's not his first job, but it's his first head job. He's always been in a support role. You gotta you sit down and talk to a guy, you gotta like him. He's enthusiastic. He understands their situation. He's teaching his kids how to be competitive, where they should play to be successful. And here's something most people overlook. They played a JV game this year, and more than one maybe, and they're playing junior high football.
Oh, there you go.
When's the last time you heard that?
Yeah, that's where it starts.
Yes, they've got a numbers problem, but you have to admire what he's doing there, and it's in the best interest of the entire Eastern Conference for them to get back in the game, and they are.
Yeah, absolutely. You've seen schools similar size like Tri. They're able to put it together pretty competitively, consistently. So there's really no reason for a team like Lincoln to try to put it together. It's going to take some time.
Oh, for sure. But if anybody can get it done, I think he will.
Yeah.
And their kids, you say, well, why would you want to play a situation like that? They want to be out there. They're not out there against their will. They love playing the game. And there's some good athletes there.
Yeah,
they'll figure it out.
Well, you didn't, obviously they came here and played Northeastern. We, beat them by, for decent score. But the feeling you got was this team is way better than I've seen the last couple of years. They maybe overmatched a little bit in some spots, but not overall. You felt like they could at least physically compete. And I guess kind of that's where it starts for
one of the great stories out of there briefly is a kid named Carson Hawk. So I joke about, well, you put a Hawk in with Eagles, that has to help. Carson Hawk was really a good football player in junior high. He never played again. He played tennis until this year. He's a senior. He's back. He's had a great year for them.
Well,
he is certainly one of their better players, and so it's nice to get him back. And he's been a difference maker.
Another team that I saw play this year for a small school, Union City, they have good athletes, a lot of good athletes. They had a quarterback that was able to sling the ball quite a bit, and they had some speed on that team.
He will break the school record probably for passing yards. And the new coach, Kyler Purdon, I saw him play in high school. He probably hadn't been out of high. Rest assured, he's not a whole lot older than his kids.
Okay.
They like him. He can relate to them. He's got strong support from the community. Kids want to be an Indian if they live in Union City.
Yeah,
and they're scoring points.
Yeah,
they're having trouble stopping other teams that could, somebody like Northeastern is a mismatch for them.
Right.
But 3 or 4 years from now, you might not be able to say that. And they do have some individual athletes they've got.
Yeah, and they were able to put up some points against the Knights, quite a bit in my estimation. But, they gave up a few, but sometimes you get that physical
sure. And you get caught up in that, let's run back and forth. And some teams can do that and some can't.
Yeah, but I thought, boy, they got some talented athletes on this team. So who knows what's going to go for the future.
Knightstown, I think, they've got, you'll see them Friday, but they've got some big play capability.
That's what I've been told.
Their quarterback is, you check and you say, does he play basketball? Because he's 6'4", whatever. Solid player. Can throw the ball a long way, and he's got some receivers can catch it. And they've got speed to burn. One or two of them, they're not quite Deloney, but they've got one that get down. If he gets a step on you, you won't catch him.
Yeah.
And he's an accurate thrower, and they've got a great big running back that you might tackle him, but even if you do, that may not be enough. It might take 3 or 4 more.
It's going to hurt no matter what. Right?
They don't have the depth of a Northeastern or Centerville, but they've got some skilled athletes. And if you got big play capability, you're in the game sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I talked to Wes Oler about Knightstown, and he realized, hey, we can't look past any team. We saw what happened when Hagerstown came here last year. They beat the Knights. So, with Wes, right now on his radar is winning that Tri-Eastern Conference and being 9-0. And he's got 2 conference games to go. He's
certainly on schedule to do that, and if he doesn't, it's going to take a huge upset.
Yeah. That sectional, all right, let me get your honest opinion. Does a Tri-Eastern Conference team or a Wayne County team, do they have a chance to win that sectional? You got Eastern Hancock, Tri-Central, Triton Central in there?
I think that the honest, candid answer to that question is it's going to depend on the draw. Northeastern, Centerville, maybe a few others in one game can win it. If they have to beat Triton Central and Eastern Hancock and somebody else back to back to back, that's a difficult chore.
Right.
But if they get to the championship game, think back to what Northeastern did a few years ago against Heritage Christian in its championship game in the sectional.
Yeah.
You get there, anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they can get to the championship game, Tri-Eastern Conference team could definitely win it, but they're going to have their hands full.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm a Knights homer. This school has never won a football sectional, so I would love this to be the time to do it right here. Really, with the Knights, Dan, it starts at the quarterback, just like any team. It starts at the quarterback position, and Blake Waters is really coming into his own this year.
He's so versatile. I mean, his passing yards speak for themselves.
Yeah.
You can't let him throw the ball. You have to make him nervous all night. And that's easier said than done. He's got great receivers, and he'll tuck the ball under his arm and run on you.
Well, he did that on Friday night against Shenandoah to cap the scoring. So
what do you do with him?
Well, I'm one who, when I see him run, I cringe because you want him upright and throwing the ball, but he'll take off. And I think Wes Oler wants him to run.
Well, certainly.
That's a weapon in your arsenal right there.
For sure, and so he's a difference maker.
Yeah.
Anytime he's out, he has to. I'm not a football coach, and I told you I thought some of the opposing teams in the conference will scheme and come up with some way to stop him. But haven't yet.
Well, 2 more games and then we're at the end. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. You're the all-knowing one.
Yeah.
Who's going to win this volleyball sectional?
Listen, can we take a break so I can leave? Honestly, Rick,
has there ever been a year where there's been so much parity in any sport like volleyball?
Yeah, but it hadn't been lately. You can verify this. Before this season ever started, I said Seton Catholic would dominate 1A.
Yeah.
And I stand on that.
Yeah.
And I said there would be tremendous parity in 2A, and I stand on that.
Well, it's like we got teams knocking each other off.
So what you have is Hagerstown beats Northeastern and loses to Northeastern.
In grueling matches, by the way. The first one was a 5-set grueling match, and then a 4-set was still a grueling match.
And Centerville loses to Northeastern and beats Northeastern.
Right.
Seton Catholic loses to Winchester and beats them. Winchester they were all over Hagerstown. They were up 2-0 and it wasn't even close, and ends up Hagerstown came back and beat them 3. You've seen enough volleyball to know it's a game of runs.
Well,
it's momentum is everything.
In the regular season, Northeastern had Union County up 2-0, and they lost in 5 sets. So just add that to the mix there. And Shenandoah, we don't know much about them, but they're the other team in this section.
We do know this much. We talked about how good the coaches are in the TEC in football. Ditto for volleyball.
Yeah. Very good coaching.
Matt Fisher here, Jimmy Bassler at Centerville. I wouldn't trade Brian Dale at Hagerstown for anybody else. And the girl at Union County, she was a phenomenal player.
Oh, she was. I remember when she played.
And now, as a coach, that's translated. Well, I'll tell you how good she was. Bryn Van Fleet is a D1 player and a legitimate one. She's closing in on 1,600 kills for her career. She's still over 100 kills behind what Miss Kaysenson, who now has a different name, had at Union County. And that's translated. She's been able to teach that with her kids. And she doesn't like to lose, and neither do her kids. And now the other schools are all in the same boat. I think it boils down to momentum and who makes the least mistakes. When Hagerstown's good, they're really good. But that's not always true.
Yeah.
And that's true of all the other schools as well.
Exactly.
Northeastern, defensively, you can't find an opening in their defense anywhere. But you saw those matches. You get these teams volleying back and forth. Then you think, they make miraculous plays, and you think, man, they're so athletic. and then somebody hits the ball in the middle of the defense, and they all watch it hit the floor. Who knows?
Oh, I know it does. It does drive you crazy from.
But
time
the
to
momentum
time.
is crazy in that sport,
Yeah,
and it's
momentum's a big thing in volleyball.
I mean, it just and it can change so rapidly. It's hard to predict. I can narrow it down to about 5 or 6 schools for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, the draw favors Winchester and Centerville in that they don't have to play as many games.
Exactly.
So somebody's going to be knocked out in the first round that they won't have to deal with. Northeastern, Hagerstown, you might as well get it over with.
Yeah.
They're both really good teams. They're not afraid of each other, but they respect each other. They're well coached. Let's get it over with.
Yeah.
If you're going to win the section, you got to win that game anyway.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm Shenandoah's coach. I don't know her, but I know this. I had a chance to have a brief conversation with her recently, and she's of the opinion that they might win that.
Well, I would not be surprised come Saturday night that whoever's standing with the trophy. I tell you, we will have that sectionals a week from this Thursday. Starts with 2 matches. I believe Hagerstown and Northeastern.
Hagerstown and Northeastern kick it off, and I think it's the 15th or
17th.
17th, right? Okay.
Which is on a Thursday, and then you've got Union County and Shenandoah, and the winner of that game goes to Centerville, and the winner of Hagerstown Northeastern plays Winchester. Now, I've seen Winchester. You and I talked off air. I looked at that team when they came here and played. Said that team's a threat to win that sectional.
Not only that, but they're a threat to win it the next 3 or 4 years. They don't have any seniors.
No, I know they don't, and they're big.
They have 4 6-footers that can all play, and there's another outstanding coach.
Yeah. So, what's that all add up to, Dan, is if you're a fan of volleyball, you got to get down to Hagerstown to see that sectional. So
for sure, and if you're a gambler, don't bet on this one.
Yeah,
honestly, that it should be one of the best volleyball sectionals in the state of Indiana in any class.
Yeah. All right, so moving on, what else? Do you have any stories you want to share with us about local sports or local news that our audience is dying to hear? They want to hear it from the king, Dan, so let's hear it.
There's 2 schools of thought on that also. There used to be a car dealer in Indianapolis, called himself the king, and he'd get on late night TV and he'd say, the king don't care. I do care, but I don't want to bore you with a bunch of stories. I want to share with you that I admire what you guys are doing. I'm fascinated by how much you get done and how difficult that is. You're dedicated primarily to Northeastern sports, as you should be. Read the sign, but you're fair to everybody else.
We try to be, yeah.
In my role, I'm trying to cover everybody and be fair to them. And from that, I've gained the understanding that you may have a favorite team, and you may have always had that. You're Patriots.
Yeah.
But over time, you find out that everybody has great kids.
Yeah.
You get to interact with so many kids. There's stories on the Centerville volleyball team, the Northeastern volleyball team, the football team, all these kids. All these schools have great kids. And that's one of the pluses I've had with being in this role. You get to tell the story of a lot of good kids, and you can't feel too bad when your team loses to somebody when you know the story on the other side.
Yeah,
everybody works hard, and everybody wants to win, and the difference is these kids work hard to prepare to win. It's not that they want to win; they work at it.
I will tell you the best thing we've done, Dan, is when we live stream games, and even here when we do this, is we bring the kids on for interviews as players of the game. This year in volleyball, we started doing the visiting team and the Knights, and these kids, they love it. But you know who likes it more is the parents when they get up there with their cameras and they're recording what's going on, and it's just fun. You know, you get to know the girls with volleyball. You get to know the girls from the other team. And a lot of our girls know them and their friends.
They play on club teams together and so forth. And
they're
and if they're not playing each other, they're fans of each other, and the competitive spirit kicks in. But now, if I were coaching, I wouldn't do that. If I lost, I wouldn't let you talk to my girls. I'd be mad. I say that jokingly, but I understand what you're trying to do, and it is nice.
We prep them beforehand, and they're excited. I think they appreciate it, but that's probably one of the best things we've started doing, and best things we've done since we've been doing this, either Knightline or live streaming games, is you bring on the participants. Nobody cares what we have to say. All right, we want to hear from either coaches or the kids, and you know what? It's memories for them. And that's one of the most satisfying things that we've done.
Well, Rick, it's been a long time ago, and despite what some people may think, it was not in Roman numerals. But when I was in school, there were some nice articles written about teams that I played on, and I might still have a few of those.
Well, there you go.
So my point
those are classics now.
My point is, when I write something, I try to be sensitive to the fact that it could end up somebody's scrapbook 40 years from now or whatever. So if I believe in positive press. If I can't say something nice about a kid, I won't say anything at all about them. But I've never had an issue with that. Yeah. They all say the right things. They all do the right things. They represent their communities proudly with that shirt, whatever it says, whether it says Knights or whatever it says. And you have to feel good about that.
All right, so we got some good things ahead of us here, hopefully. I'd love to see one of those Wayne County teams or Tri-Eastern Conference teams win the sectional. Of course, I would like to be Northeastern, but if it can't be...
You've already identified yourself as a homer.
Yeah,
so
I got my gear on here.
But it could be.
Yeah, it could be.
There's a precedent for it. They've won it the last 2 years.
Yeah, so we'll see... what goes on, but I tell you that if you're a volleyball fan, go down to Hagerstown because you're going to see some. You might see some 5-set matches here and going right to the air.
You likely will, and the other thing about it is the team that wins that will have to be playing their best volleyball of the year.
Yeah,
and they'll have to maintain it for 2 or 3 matches depending on the draw.
Yeah,
you can't play it at a level below your best and expect to win that.
Yeah, there's no down matches here. You cannot take a break. So we'll look forward to that. All right, Dan. Well, we could stay for an hour. All right, but we got other things to do. But I appreciate you coming on.
You're welcome, and I want to leave the area fans with this thought. You pick up the paper wherever you get your news, and you see these rankings, state rankings.
Yeah.
And you see teams you've never seen play, and you think, man, they must really be good. There are plenty of good teams around here who will be competitive against those same teams. You just don't know that because you've never seen them play. Northeastern football might be a prime example of that, and all these volleyball teams. They might go to the next level and the next level if they can get out of that sectional.
Well, we'll see. Let's hope.
You can look for the Seton Catholic Cardinals to do that for sure.
Oh yeah, because they're a very good team, and so look forward to seeing the results of that. All right, that's been Dan Harney of the Western Wayne News. Let me hold that up. This is the latest edition of the Western Wayne News. It comes out on Wednesday, right? Is that right?
That we mail them on Wednesday. They're on the newsstand on Wednesday, so the subscribers, who you should be one of, get theirs usually in the mail through Thursday. You might be shocked at how many subscribers we have, but if you just can't wait, go to westernwaynenews.com and you can see a lot of articles online that you in some form that'll be in the paper when you get it Thursday.
And I did price that out. It's very affordable. It's really not that much. So plus you get to read Dan's his reports. He's very good about his local reports.
And the work of a lot of other people that I work with who are dedicated, to small staff who have been rewarded by statewide awards as recently as this year again. The Western Wayne News. We're in it to win it, just like these teams.
All right, there you go. All right, that's been Dan Harney of the Western Wayne News. We'll see you around. We'll see you somewhere.
Look forward to it.
So we'll be back after these messages from our sponsors. You're watching Knightline, and we're live.
From our trucks to their lunch trays, to your local hospital, to your favorite pub, and to your kitchen table. For more than 60 years, Dot Foods and Dot Transportation have been stocking the shelves of your hometown. Sure, we've grown a lot, but at our core, we're still small-town, family-run businesses that care about our communities and the people who keep us running. Join the Doc family today and be part of something bigger.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
In this market, finding a home you love and actually closing the deal is a cause for celebration. And it all starts with a competitive edge from First Financial Bank. We'll get you pre-qualified fast so you can get your offer in first. We even offer programs with low down payment options and reduced closing costs. Plus, our friendly local team is always here to help. A bank that's ready to help you find a home and a reason to celebrate, however you choose to. That's First.
Harmon sheds are custom built to your specifications and needs. But wait, there's more! Harmon sheds build privacy fences, decks for your pool, beautifully designed decks for all around your home, and detached pavilions. Let Joe and the crew do all the work, so all you need to do is relax.
We're dedicated to great results just for you. Johnson Chiropractic.
So I recommend Dr. Johnson all the time over the years. Many people have come to Dr. Johnson for my recommendations. And if people live 50 miles away and they tell us they have this problem and they're going to have an operation, we say, no, go see our chiropractor, Dr. Johnson.
We're dedicated to great results just for you. Johnson Chiropractic.
This is Rick Fletcher. When my car needs repair, I take it to 715 Sim Hargen Parkway in Richmond, home of Knuckle Busters. With their ASE certified technicians, why would you go anyplace else? They repair domestic and imports, air conditioners to Z-bars. Knuckle Busters Auto Repair. Call 765-488-1470 and tell them to go Knights! Welcome back to Knightline. As you can see, my partner Jerry Middleton is still out on administrative leave. I think it's paid administrative leave, but I'll have to verify that. He's got some duties here. He's back. All right. We're going to fill the seat, Jerry. Come on in here. Jerry's back. We were trying to determine, Jerry, if you were getting paid or not. So, and we're live, by the way, just in case.
Well, here I am. I'm getting paid something. I don't know what, but it's something.
Well, we just had Dan on, and you'll have to watch that later.
Well, I will.
Yeah, he was great as usual. Let's talk a little bit of volleyball. We talked about a lot of volleyball, a lot of football with Dan. But, sectional draws coming. The Knights, really, you look at last week, Jerry, they beat Tri-Village, went to Knightstown, beat them handily.
Yep.
Lost to Hagerstown in a I'm going to call it an epic match. They lost in 5 sets. Then they came back and beat Hagerstown in the first game in the Wayne County tournament. That tells you how competitive this is. And who do they draw for the sectional, Jerry?
Hagerstown.
Why not? Let's do it again.
Why not? Let's play somebody 3 times in a year.
Yeah.
And it'd be the rubber game of the match.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tell you, and I watched some of it the other day on on the Knights Broadcasting Network, and I'll tell you, it was pretty intense.
Very intense. Very intense. That the Knights played in the Wayne County tournament. They played Centerville. Now, they beat Centerville earlier in the year. Centerville didn't have one of their star players at that time, and she was back for this day, and hopefully she's back for the rest of the year. But it was a 5-match barn burner. I mean, it really was. It was intense. You weren't there, Jerry, but it was hot in the gym.
Well, that's what everybody was talking about, how hot it was. I'm not sure why, it was be so hot. And
someone turned the air conditioner off, and I didn't think they knew where the switch was. So,
Yeah.
But it was warm in the gym. But I tell you, you talk about effort. There was effort being played out on both sides. Congratulations to Centerville. They won their, they repeat champs for that Wayne County tournament. So anyways, they got beat by Centerville, but it was really a fun day of volleyball in that Wayne County tournament because we saw some competitive matches, and it was fun to see in the last match a very competitive match with the Bulldogs.
Well, I think when you sit back and you look at everybody in that sectional,
yeah,
I would honestly say that you could take a coin and flip it.
Yeah.
And that's who your favorite might be.
Well, Dan and I were discussing that. Who's going to win? We don't know who's going to win. All right? There's 6 teams that could potentially win that sectional.
Absolutely.
Now I'm one. I love competitiveness. I love to see competition. Yes, I want the Knights to win, but you want to see some good, solid play. If it goes 5 sets, the better. But I tell you, I have no idea who. It's whoever shows up and plays the best.
Well, right now it's all about streaks.
Yeah.
And it's either a 2-game streak or a 3-game streak. That's all you got. You just got to play well 2 times or 3 times. The Knights have to play well 3 times.
Yeah.
And in Winchester, and I forget who else got the bye.
Centerville got the bye.
Centerville. You just got to play good twice.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, don't forget Union County's on the other side of that. And
yeah.
Union County, they're always in the mix. No matter who the players are, they've got such a tradition there. And I think that's what Matt Fisher's trying to build here. He wants to build a team that's always in the mix. We went through some rough times in volleyball, but I think what Matt's building is a team. They're in the mix.
Yep.
All right. Now their record is not great. It's just above 500, I think. But I think if you look at the team and how they're playing, and they're a young team, they could be holding that trophy.
And you also have to look at the competition you've played.
Yeah.
We played 4 or 5 top 10s in different divisions.
Right.
So, you got some of that you got to take into play, who you play also.
Yeah. So anyways, that should be a great sectional.
Should be.
Now, we're working out our live stream schedule, okay? We haven't finalized that yet, but I think we've determined that we'll be there at least on Saturday, if nothing else.
Yeah.
We're still working out Thursday night. That will be a week from Thursday at Hagerstown. The Knights in Hagerstown start it all off. Might as well get it going early, just like Dan said, okay? And that'll be the 6 o'clock match, and then the next match will fall between Shenandoah and Union County, and the winners go on to Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough road, but hopefully the Knights, you just want to see them play well and give themselves a chance. Season's not over. They still got plenty of season left. We'll be on air tomorrow night in a home volleyball match, and Thursday night in a final home volleyball match. I believe they play in a tournament on Saturday before next week.
At Union County.
At Union County before next week's tournament.
They'll play Seton, and I forget who all's in their pool, but there you go, Seton. There's another
team,
another top team. That's 1A, but
they're still
pretty good.
Yeah, they're still a good team. So, all right. So we like to do Subway players of the game.
Yeah.
So I've got a video here with Emma Bledsoe-Ryan and Ava Spradling. We've talked a lot this year on our live streams about Emma and the improvement she's made from her freshman year to her sophomore year. She's a key cog in that machine, and Ava's only a freshman. She's got her whole career ahead of her, and she's a great player. So let's go to that, Aiden, and see what the girls had to say. Well, welcome back to Northeastern High School and an exciting Fourth and final set. The Knights win this 3-1 over Tribe Village. This is the Subway Players of the Game. Subway Sandwich Shop with 3 locations in Richmond and 1 in Hagerstown is a Subway Sandwich Shop near you. Subway, eat fresh, and our Subway Players of the Game are sophomore Emma Bledsoe-Ryan, Ava Spradling, the freshman. All right, Emma, this game was tight in a lot of spots, but you, and I'll talk to Ava in a second, but boy, when we needed a kill and to stop a run or something, you came up big. So talk about what was going on out there on the floor and how, with the intensity, because there was a lot of intensity.
We knew, like, when it got tough, we had to just put the ball in and just keep the play going and just be smart with what we had.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and that's what was going on out there. So now we're on a little bit of a run after a rough spot there. Can this game right here, playing a very good team here, can this kind of send us on maybe a little winning streak here as we head into sectionals?
Oh, yeah. I think we have, like, the drive and power to do it.
All right, let me speak to you guys. Switch spots. That's Emma Bledsoe-Ryan. Let's talk to Ava, the killing machine. All right, come on over here, Ava. Going to have to squeeze in tight. All right, Ava, again, I don't know how many kills you had. I don't even if you know, but you had a lot of them, okay?
Yeah.
But what Jerry and I were saying as we were watching the game, your kills were coming up in key spots, either stopping a run, getting the ball, side out, something like that. So talk about, you were getting some good balls to hit too. So talk about the things that were going on out there in the court.
I just try to find the opening and hit where the players weren't and try to not hit into the block.
It's a simple game, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just hit them where they're not. I mean, anybody can do that. Even an old guy like me could probably do that, right?
Yeah.
So we're on a little bit of a run here. We went through a very tough spot.
We did.
I would call it some growing pains. There's a little bit of a lineup tweak. Not necessarily a big change, but a tweak there. Are we finding that? Are we liking these lineup tweaks and the things that are going on? Or you tell me. I know you're just a player, not a coach, but what are your thoughts? And you're only a freshman.
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot. So go ahead. Tell us what your thoughts are.
I mean, I feel like there's, like, good things about it and bad things about it. We just need to find, like, what works the best.
All right. Was it intense out there in that fourth set when the match kept going? I mean, the set kept going on and on and on and on.
I was stressing.
All right. You don't stress that much. I don't notice you stressing. All right. These have been our Subway
our favorite teacher.
Players of the Game. We're going to come back, and we're going to have a couple players from Tribe Village. This has been Ava Spradling and Emma Bledsoe-Ryan.
And welcome back to Knightline Live, brought to you by Astro Industries out of Lynn. Rick, I don't know. You might get yourself I don't want to say a Pulitzer, but maybe a Grammy or something, or an Emmy, whatever it is for all this filmmaking.
Well, I was telling Dan earlier that's what when we decided to do things like that. That's what it's fun, and that's. I think people like to see that.
Yeah.
They love to see themselves and their kids and grandkids. So that's what we try to focus on, and so that's what we do. We got to take a break. All right, let's hear from our gold level sponsors. And when we come back, we'll talk about football, Jerry. So you're watching Knightline, and we're live. This is Rick Fletcher.
Are you being bugged about your floral needs? The Leaning Lily, 927 South 9th, is a full-service florist with lots of great gift ideas like wind chimes, potted plants, hanging baskets, teddy bears, and much, much more. Convenient delivery available to residential, the hospital, and local funeral homes. The Leaning Lily has bouquets to say, I love you, to weddings to say, I do. The Leaning Lily, we have you covered. Martin's Country Mart, US 27 Fountain City. Swing in and grab a coffee or a frazzle, maybe a fountain drink at Martin's Country Mart. We also have all your favorite snacks, bottled drinks, and of course, sweet bakery items. Plenty of accessories for dinner. And don't forget the grill menu, covering breakfast, lunch, dinner, and of course, the kids' favorite, pizza. Martin's Country Mart, Fountain City.
Your school helps shape the person you become, opening your mind to new ideas and belonging to a community. Whether it's earning an advanced degree, joining the FFA, pushing your health and wellness, playing in the band, or playing on the field. It's a safe place where everyone knows your name, and a kid can be a kid. The halls of today filled with the leaders of tomorrow. Northeastern.
You've had a hard day at work and all you want to do is sit in your lounge chair in the nice cool air? Then it hits. The AC's not working. The living room feels like the Sahara Desert. Call Reynolds Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. In just a short time, it'll be nice and cool. And then all you'll need is a sign that says, "No penguins allowed." Call 765-966-0994. Reynolds Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Proud sponsors of the Knights. Did someone say boom, baby? Call Scaretti Pyrotechnics at 765-977-2757. Scaretti Pyrotechnics has performances for birthdays, weddings, school athletic events, other occasions, and of course, the 4th of July. Scaretti Pyrotechnics are proud supporters of Knights Athletics. Boom, baby! Smith, McQuiston, and Webster Funeral Home has proudly served the Fountain City area since 1886. From the time you walk up the steps, Funeral Director Keith Webster's goal is to carry forward the legacy of personal service established by the Smith and McQuiston families. Using modern technology and good old-fashioned attention to detail, we will strive to earn your confidence in us by treating families the way we think we would want to be treated. Smith, McQuiston, Webster Funeral Home. Welcome back to Knightline Live, brought to you by Astro Industries out of Lynn. Rick, football?
7-0. I mean, you can't complain at this point in time. Friday night, Knights came out a little sluggish. You know, you kind of thought they might. You know,
Yeah.
Their emotional win over Centerville in the wind and the rain and all that. But they were able to really turn it on in the second half. And, you know, I think Shenandoah is an up-and-coming team for football. I mean, they have a good history, Shenandoah. But the Knights were a better team, and they did what they were supposed to do, and they won 42-20. So they go to 7-0, and here comes Knightstown. So after the game, Jerry, we talked with Wes Oler, as we normally do. So let's go to that video, Aiden, and see what Wes had to say. We're here at Shenandoah. The Knights just defeated the Raiders 42-20 in a tough, hard-fought game. This is the First Financial Bank coach's comment. First Financial Bank in Richmond. Go see Beth Beatty if you need a new mortgage or if you need to rewrite an existing mortgage. I'm here with Coach Wes Oler. Wes, my first comment is they don't come easy, do they?
No, and people will see the score and not realize how tough a ball game this was. But it was exciting, right? We get down first 6-0, then we come right back, and we had some big plays. They had a big play on the kick return, but I thought a big play was they marched down. We got up by a couple scores. They marched down, cut it to 9, went for 2,
right,
and we stopped them. And that's a huge play to stay up 2 scores. And they did the right thing because they've got to go for 2 at some point there, whether it's after that touchdown or the next one. So that was a big play that nobody will notice in the box score. But I couldn't be more proud of our defense. They were resilient. Several stops inside the red zone.
Yeah.
Of course, one of their touchdowns was on special teams, but I'm proud of our O-line and our ability to run the football in these games when we need to. When we've got the lead and we're trying to run clock. I thought Dylan Ross, Blake Waters, we had Zane Schneider in there blocking a little bit. I really love that. That's a kind of a finishing package for us as far as personnel. And we did exactly what we needed to do, other than the interception on the screen pass. But that was just a nice play by their kid. But super proud of our kids coming on the road, non-conference and getting a big win.
Seems like we were able to move the ball pretty well. Got bogged down inside the 10 a couple times there. What do we attribute that to, or just that's the way the game goes?
Yeah, I know one drive we had a botch snap. I think it was a low snap. We had like a 3rd and 1, and then it turns into a 3rd and 6. And with a spread offense, it's always tough when that field shrinks. Everything gets more difficult. And I'd like to have a couple calls back. I feel like I should have thrown on one of those 4th downs when we got inside there, but one of our missed opportunities turned into a safety, and that was the difference in the first half, having those 2 points. But we executed our short line stuff there on 4th and goal with Creech punching a touchdown in. That was a huge score. So I thought there were a lot of bright spots, but you're right. We did bog down a little bit in the red zone there, and that's something we've got to clean up.
Well, after being dominated by Shenandoah all these years, all of a sudden 3-game winning streak for these guys.
Yep.
All right, we move on. The season's not over. A couple big games left on the schedule here for Tri-Eastern Conference, ramifications. Next week you got all of a sudden a Knightstown team that can put up points. So what do we think about those guys?
Coach Taylor in his 2nd year has completely turned that program around. And he's from Greenfield Central. He's a great guy, and he's doing what suits his kids. Last year he did it when they were all wing T and they tried to shorten the games and run the ball. This year he's got a dude that can sling it. He's got some receivers and a good running back, so they're spread and they're working that way. But they put up a lot of points, and so again, incredible turnaround, and I'm excited to watch them on film and start to prepare. We got 2 conference championship games in a row because we don't want to share with anybody. So we got to take care of business at home next week and then on the road at Hagerstown.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, we'll have that game against Knightstown on the Knights Broadcasting Network. Knights go to 7-0 on a convincing win tonight. This has been Coach Wes Oler. This has been the First Financial Bank Coaches Comment Show.
Welcome back to Knightline Live, and brought to you by Astral Industries. Rick, it's always nice about Coach Oler. Win, lose, or draw.
Always available.
Always available.
Yeah, he is. I feel good. I'm happy for Wes. He's got his team at 7-0. 2 big games left, against Knightstown, who can put up some points. We've seen.
Oh, yeah, they can score.
And that'll be this Friday night. We'll have that on the live stream. And then you have Hagerstown to finish the regular season. Sectional draw is Sunday night, so it's. I think in this sectional, Jerry, it's a tough sectional, and it's all going to be about who you draw, and so that's going to play a big.
It's all about the draw.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll look forward to that. So volleyball tomorrow night on the live stream.
Oh, that's right. We're at volleyball tomorrow night on the live stream, and just a quick reminder. We will not be here next Monday because it's fall break.
Yeah.
But we will be back the following Monday.
Yes.
And with a special guest.
We'll have a guest on the 21st of October, so join us here, and we appreciate everybody tuning in.
Yep.
We've gotten quite a few views on this, so we must be doing something right. I don't know what it is.
Oh, either that or nobody has anything else to do.
Probably, yeah, they're bored. So.
All right. Well, for our executive producer, Aiden, and for Rick Fletcher, I'm Jerry Middleton, and you know what? It's been another good night.